Welcome to the Chromaniacs, your weekly look inside San Diego FC and MLS. My name is Craig Elston, joined as always by my two Chromaniacs, Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena. Tony, what's happening?
Well, there wasn't any media availability. It's international break, but we still have some things to react to with San Diego FC as they are going to start to game plan for San Jose in a couple of weeks. But they need to regroup after, not the most positive in terms of point making the last couple games. But we'll see what we have here in store. Alex, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, very good. Everyone's on an international break except for us. We're still doing the Chromaniac thing, recording, putting an episode out for everybody else to hear. So I hope everyone's going to enjoy this one as we recap Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, hey, the audience doesn't go away on international break. They aren't taking a break. Why should we take a break? So we're back with you for episode number 37, officially the 9th episode of season 2 of Chromaniacs. We were just talking about the arbitrary and meaningless way in which we label our episodes prior to hitting record. So it's another thing in your feed, and we're happy to have given it to you. Here's what's going to be going on in the show. As Alex mentioned, we're going to recap the Sunday disappointment. It's not the worst result, but anytime you're winning in the second half and you wind up not getting all 3 points at home, it's not what you want. So is the sky falling on San Diego FC? We'll answer the straw man question and hear some of what the coach and the club had to say after SDFC 2, RSL 2. Then we'll get into some of the news that comes out of it. Chris McVeigh has a red card. So now he's just out everywhere. He's out at CONCACAF. Oh, we're out of CONCACAF. Cool. Let me get out of MLS too. I'm out. So what do you do to replace him going forward? Manodua has been so good. Too good to stay? We're going to get into rumors at the end of the show. One, not exciting. One, exciting. One guy, we want the rumor not to be true, and the other, we want the rumor to be true. Probably. Will he be a holistic fit? Let's talk about it. Here we go. Chromaniacs, number 37. Okay, so such a wildly active stretch for SDFC the last 2 weeks, 2+ weeks. And understanding we're going to see a lot of this between here, then the World Cup break, then again an accelerated pace second half, then a very short off season, and then a 17-match sprint season. It's going to be a lot of sprinting. SDFC has to know how to get back on their feet and to run fast and to recover quickly. But this was the last of the set. That's where you often see things fade. And the open question was asked by us after 0-4 at Toluca. Would there be any hangover? Would there be any collective malaise after you got your hat handed to you so badly? Would that allow another good team, either by scheme or psychology, to take advantage of you along the way? So just Tony, starting with you, then Alex, how did you feel after reviewing what happened in the match?
I'm not particularly mad at what happened at Snapdragon Stadium. I think it's a fair result against a team that came out wanting to win this game. And San Diego, a team who, had 3 games in a very short amount of time. And one of those being a high intensity, high traveled time into Mexico, Toluca. And if you come out of this game with a point, I think you have to be happy. Not necessarily happy with how it ended, but you have to be content at least that it wasn't a loss. And I think even with the loss, with everything that happened prior to the RSL match, I think you'd still have understanding of, hey, you know what? There's a reason why this was a loss. But nonetheless, San Diego FC fought. They were able to get a point out of this. And I think in an overall thing, I think you have to be pretty content with 1 point in this stretch after, losing 4-0 against Toluca, and Chivas still jumping in joy since Monday because of his, prediction coming true. Of course. And
probably roots for the IRS on tax day too.
Oh my God, he roots for to pay taxes and not get a return. Oh my God.
I like it when they raise my taxes. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's do more often.
Go
These gas prices are great.
Yeah. Precisely.
Oh,
Oh man. Well, Chiva, you earned it. I said that to you that day, Tony. I said that result was a huge day for Chiva, for math, and for atheism. I think a certain slice of the world felt great relief when they saw that result come in. And Chiva, that's just understand those are your bedfellows. I mean, is it the worst thing in the world? It's up to the listener and the viewer to decide. But that's Chiva. That's Chiva over there. Check him out on the other part of the SanDiego.Futbol feed on Two Balls and a Mic if you want to hear that jumping bean jump. Now, Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was never going to be easy against Real Salt Lake. They made moves during the winter transfer window, and they're trying to win, and they looked every part of a winning type of organization. So it's hard to get mad at this result. It's a draw. You just know that these guys were tired at the very end of this. Like, not only this game, this whole stretch. It was 5 games from Sporting KC to traveling all over, going into San Diego, and if you played 90% of this stretch, you were Yepe Tverskov, Luca Bombino, and Ani Velakari. Ani Velakari almost played every minute of 5 matches, and that's insane. That's out of 450 possible minutes, he played like just around 436. That's insane. And it just seems like the team just needed a little bit more. I mean, just a little bit more out of their younger players, right? And because we don't have those type of veterans that can come in and produce and sub out like a Balakari easily or a Bombino. Bombino has to be out there pretty much every game too. And yeah, you saw it. You saw how Yepe played this past weekend, and he looked like a man that just ran out of steam. And kind of, I feel like it was fortunate that we got at least a draw, and we didn't end up with the loss, because after that second goal, you could see on the other side the head coach, he wanted another one. He was telling his guys, let's go for another one, try to get the third goal and steal a couple more points in San Diego.
Taking a look now as we roll in some of the video from the match, and Yepe Tverskov, I just think in some weird ways, I mean, the real ones know, but he's irreplaceable, right? Like, I mean, if Tverskov is out, if he takes a hamstring, if from overplay he takes a soft tissue injury and he has to miss 4 to 6 weeks, like, what does that do to the overall potency, Tony, of San Diego FC and their ability to institute right to dream and make it look like it has when it's right?
I mean, he's one of the players that has the biggest engine on him in order to be able to run up and down, and he's in that center midfield role for a reason. And do you have a player on that roster that can match that engine that Yepe Tverskov has? And I don't think so right now. And it's going to be a compilation of different players to be able to match his output just physically, not just talent wise, because I don't think there is anybody on that team that can match what he's able to manage up and down, other than potentially Manodua. And I can see a world where Manodua goes back into that center defensive mid role and just becomes, a fish in water once again, because that's his natural drawn position. Maybe not with the finesse that Yepe has and just the know-how, but in order to be an addition on defense, you then go ahead and put some creative players in front of Manodua and say, you know what? He's almost going to act like that fifth center back. And when he played in Toluca, next to Ian Pilcher, it almost seemed like he was another center back because he was needed to have that physicality next to Ian Pilcher, and that's why he was unable to really move up and create as well. So, if you're a San Diego fan, you have the little velita, the little candle with Yepe just always turned on, just hoping that nothing ever happens to him. But I think San Diego FC would overall be okay, but they wouldn't be as good, anywhere near as good with Yepe. In Varsen, te la paso. Like, that's a loss again to that spine of Right to Dream. That's very important, but the loss of Yepe in the midfield would be devastating.
Yeah, I could see that.
Go ahead.
And I think the guy that they kind of want to just be like half of Yepe is Pedro Soma in that midfield, and he's nowhere close to that type of ability. Knowing the system, being an outright leader that can just be out there and be a general out there. He's nowhere close to that. Like, it kind of seems like we have to. You're hoping for Soma to kind of fast track the way Bombino and Dua did, and see if he can, by the end of this season or towards like the last couple months of the season, that you start seeing signs of that. But right now, early on, it's kind of hard to squint and be like, okay, I can kind of see you mimicking Tverskov, but you're not there yet. But it we definitely need like something, right, heading into a Leagues Cup, heading into October, that you're gonna need some minutes out of somebody that can kind of give Tverskov just some time off, because 5 games in this type of stretch, man, he just ran out of juice, and it was very evident, like, on Sunday.
Well, moving on to another guy that we've been mentioning over the course of this discussion, 2-2 is the final result. 3-2 RSL is what it is if Manodua doesn't do a magician's clearance off the back line, off of the goal line. He was in the right place to clear it. The way he cleared it was so tricksy. It was like, whoa, how did you even do that and not knock it into the net? Nonetheless, that's a goal saved. Manodua showed well yet again. He shows well over and over. As you know, I'm already on the Manodua's the best player on the team train. And another week of some rumors that Europe's going to come calling for Manodua, and perhaps right away. And by right away, I mean by the summer transfer. How do you? Wow, that's a brave clearance right there by Manodua to make sure that he's going to just put one leg in between and have it be the inside leg and clear it that way and have it come out. That's crazy. That's brave. But my question to you guys is, will Manodua be on this team after the World Cup?
I think so. I think there's still some work to do. Just the first goal there, that RSL scored, like, he got beat. I mean, uh, who was it? Solans. He just went right up to Dua. He had the momentum. He had everything going for him, and he couldn't really get into a good position to beat Salon and header that ball out of there. So there's still things to work on, but the goal clearance, the ball clearance, right, that you were talking about, he knows where to be. He knows that he has to cover the back post. He's always in a good position, even when it doesn't look. It almost looks like that ball was going to go through his legs and into the goal. He knows where to be, and I think that's just a good sign of his skill set. But there's probably still some things to work on. I don't think, like, right now is probably a good time to get him this early on, when um you could probably get him a more polished version of him probably in a year from now. So I'm not really that scared that he's going to go off somewhere else. I think there's probably still some things to work on.
Yeah, I mean, he's very green in the position too, as great as he is. I think a lot of his, skills and those goal line clearances and those unconventional ways of defending that goal line come from the fact that he's playing a foreign position that he's learning still to right now, right? Like he's a natural born center defensive mid. And so if you start to develop that a little bit, then you get a much more well-rounded player. And that's a more attractive for the European markets, right? A Ghanaian center back right now, you can find, I think somebody was bringing up like, oh, he should be called for this World Cup for Ghana. Like, why isn't he being called up? Because there's 15 other center backs who have been a center back since birth that are ahead of him in every facet, right? But I think there's still time for him to learn under the system. I do know that his contract does expire just the last day of 2027. So that just means that, if you do come back, get a renew his contract, and if you know he's going to be leaving at some point eventually, get more money out of him because you could also have a much more talented player, much more polished player at that end. I think one of the biggest things that for Manodua that helps him out is the way that he's able to track back. There was a VAR call that was called back because he was able to come back against two players and just muscle his way through and win that ball cleanly and get himself in that way. That's one of the biggest qualities that is sometimes overlooked outside of his goal line clearances and stuff, positioning, physicalities, how quick he is to turn back and really clean up a situation where you even see the physicality that it brings into question with a penalty potentially. And no, upon further review, this guy's that good in defense. But I think in the system, he still has some ways to go. And if you are going to sell him, I think that there is much more finished product potentially like a Bombino, because you see that his specialization is that left back. You see that he can definitely be a part of a lot of systems. But for Manodua, I think he still has some years left in San Diego FC.
All right, next question / topic. Things working pretty well up top, obviously, and Vartson and Dreyer continue to do their thing. They are the guys who are going to power this offense, and when they score and set each other up, that's what's supposed to happen. That's how it plays. For San Diego FC, good news. Nice to see Vartson scoring greasy goals too. That's something I like to see. I need to see my number 9 in there, digging out those kind of clumpy goals and putting them in. Nonetheless, is depth an issue up top? Because some decisions have been made along the way. And Alex, you pointed this out on your site over the course of the last week. Zamblé is a guy that we, currently have over discussed on this show because he came in for some stoppage time in a 4-0 game and scored immediately and got us thinking about his opportunity to rise within the system. And since then, we've seen him for like 2 minutes? I mean, maybe 2 minutes tops. Can this team afford to do that right now, the way they are redlining the key stars of the team?
It seems like he has he needs more training, more like Zamblé just needs more time in the system before he actually gets those real minutes, not those, oh, we're gonna put you in a 4-0 game and here you go. Just go out there and do your thing. But that also means that yes, you have to redline your other guys, especially like Pellegrino. He's an old man in the system, and you need someone else that can get those minutes and still give you quality. And who we saw in the stretch was Alex Mighton, who, fine player, but I think there needs to be a little bit more, like someone with a little more, like, be dynamic, that can change the game for you. Um, and I don't see Alex Mighton being that. But yeah, you had Zamblé on the roster for 5 games. You didn't use him once. And yeah, like what's the deal with that? You're kind of wasting a roster spot for this guy. And it's not just him, it's also Sadie. They put Sadie in one of these matches too, and it was just for like, 10 minutes or so. And yeah, it seems like, yeah, we're gonna prioritize the young guys, but we're also not gonna give them like real minutes to play. Like I'm not understanding like like what's the deal there? Like they need real minutes. They need to play to develop. And if you're not going to play these guys, they should be on a loan somewhere getting those real minutes, because once we need them, like once we actually need Zamblé to play later on, like he's still not going to be ready. So that's why I think I asked Tony when we first heard about Zamblé, is he going to be like on the team long term? Like, is he going to be an actual player that's going to be here? And for all indications, Tony said yes. He's not going to be a player that's going to be on loan. He's going to be here for real, right? Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, I mean he's part of the system. He's got a almost a primary number, 14. Like he's going to be a featured. 14 is a super sub number for sure. And going as you're going through the season, one thing you have to keep in mind too is those minutes that he got and the goal that he got was against an atrocious Montreal team in game 1. And
Right.
situationally, it was 5-0, right? These other games you've had against DC are they're tight games, and are you really going to trust that the kid is going to be able to do that in those moments? Maybe not. And, you can't necessarily risk a result by giving those opportunities, even though you are saying this is the club of opportunity for the young kids. It's not the moment for it right now. Saidi got meaningless moments, meaningless time again, but yeah, he's certainly getting some looks out there. But I think for Zamblé, you're going to start to see him more in the summer when again Pellegrino starts to kind of slow down a little bit when it's hot out for sure, because he's the young kid that's going to have those legs. And you also have to look at how much San Diego FC now has a schedule adjustment. You don't have these Conca Champions games anymore. You don't have these weekly, there's more rest for the players. So there is going to be not as much rotation if people are playing well and the team is doing well, right? Like, again, I don't think you should be ashamed of the result that San Diego has been having. They're still one of 3 teams that is undefeated in MLS: Nashville, Inter Miami, San Diego, and haven't lost. So, I mean, just 30,000 view, like, it's still a good place to be. Zamblé will get his moments. He'll get his time. Maybe he's behind Lewis Morgan once Varston gets played in that middle again. You still have different options. And, where Zamblé is, he's exactly where he needs to be. Is it frustrating sometimes? Because you do know that this is also a political play in a way of like, hey, left winger, young kid, here you go. We're gonna invest in the youth, not necessarily in this holistically unfit person. This is somebody we're going to shove in your face because this is what we are. We're the academy. We have this player. He's the poster child. He's right to dream. He's everything. But for right now, early in the season, just it's not his time.
Okay, well then my question back to you is, do we just need to be patient about Lewis Morgan? Because so far he's not giving you what I would suggest is what's needed. Someone needs to be able to come in and contribute that's not Pellegrino and Gvartsen or Dreyer, because it's a not young front line. I'm not going to call it old, but it's a not young front line. So the idea that they're going to make it all the way through when the schedule is in particular lined up to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of lack of time between matches because of the World Cup break. I feel like Morgan is an important player for this team that so far hasn't quite locked, but it's too early, right, to say that it's not working.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And there's still time for loans. There's still times for more players to come in mid-season. There's still times for this team to kind of find their identity. As you're seeing these early results, they're finding a lot of successes in set pieces. They're finding a lot of successes through the wings. And Tyler Heaps has mentioned that he wants to look for a creative midfielder centrally too. So when that does happen, they were going to want to play more centrally and not have to rely on those wings. Honors Dryer is going to be Honors Dryer, but you're not going to necessarily have to rely on Pellegrino having an outstanding work rate and output. Therefore, you kind of have to, you rest them a little bit in that sense, because the creation is coming through Yepes, coming through the center into Invarston directly, instead of going over and trying to bombard physically and use the physicality inside with crosses to Invarston, which again has still been working. Like, that system has been working so far for San Diego FC. We know they can put the ball on the ground and pass it all day, every day, and try to walk it into the goal. But they're adding different layers with the set pieces, the aerial duels, the aerial battles, the counterattacking from different ways and different looks. So San Diego FC is kind of in that phase 2. They're kind of going to put a little cocoon around themselves into this beautiful, hopefully attractive way of playing in season 2.
And real quick, that I liked what I saw out of Pellegrino. He beat out his man for that second goal, and he had to run a long ways, and he beat out his man. And then I think I saw Morgan try to do the same thing, and he couldn't do it. I'm like, I was so disappointed when I saw that, because I saw Pellegrino easily beat. He was faster and strong enough to get the ball, and Morgan was like just a tad slower. I'm like, oh man. It just made me wonder, like, does he have his legs under him, or does he still need some time with with his previous injury, or is he just like fully good to go?
No, he's not fully good to go. He's still coming back and getting his legs underneath him. And again, you kind of return him into a tough game with Toluca, and you just kind of throw him out there again too. I think you mentioned, he speaks Spanish, so maybe he's just there to kind of listen in on trying to listen on some strategies that clearly didn't work. But yeah, no, Pellegrino's in much better shape for the style too, for sure. And that's where, like, you look at his engine and what he's been able to do, and he's impressive. He's shutting mouths up too. Like, everybody's been saying, like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. He's not here. He's been deserving it every game that he's been out there. Yeah, he's missed here and there, but even to the Mexican media, they qualified him as the most dangerous player on San Diego FC because Honors Dryer didn't do anything in Mexico.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I mean, when you talk about Morgan not having his legs under him like Pellegrino, he would just die to have legs like Pellegrino that are each 3 inches longer than his legs.
Limbs.
Just switch them out. Just switch them out.
Yeah, you guys can go Google this guy or put him up on YouTube. I'm going to show again my age of referring to an 80s and 90s baseball player, but the guy that Pellegrino reminds me of when he runs is Devon White. Devon White was a center fielder for the Anaheim Angels and the Toronto Blue Jays. He was on the Blue Jays championship teams in the early 90s, and he had these long, graceful strides when he was running where you wouldn't think he could get there. And then it's just like, whoa, he got there. And I think we've seen that at least twice already this season with Pellegrino, where he gets to a ball that you just think he has no chance to get to. There's Devon White.
Jesus.
Stealing bases. He's fast too. He was a really good player, actually. Devon White was an excellent player. But he could really, really run in center field. He was known for his glove. He won multiple Gold Gloves, and he was known for his speed and his grace out there. And sorry for the cross-sport analogy, but just Pellegrino is actually a lot of fun to watch. He has been terrific. Okay, enough of me interrogating you guys. Let's hear Tony interrogating people.
Actually, can I interrogate you guys on something here? What is this? What do you call this? I don't know what, you like baseball, Alex, you like underwater basket weaving as a sport. I'm not sure what other sport. What in sport of soccer, what would you categorize a play that ends like this, with Bombino trying to cross it back in, then it hits something. It hits something. And then you get a closer look here. Bombino crosses, and then that happens. What would there be a term for that? Like,
is that Is that an unnatural motion of the arm? Would that be considered handball?
Well, you'd
It's a
be
yeah,
well.
it's a handball. Goddamn. Yes, it's a handball. I was so frustrated with that call. Like,
I said it
of
was a
course
natural place. You're
of
allowed to
course
have
it's a
arms, Alec.
handball. Like the video shows it. It shows it as clear as day. It's a handball. But no, you got to be in a natural position, and it disqualifies any handball. Like, I thought that was ridiculous. It really could have changed the game and could have put it in San Diego FC's favor. And again, it's not, the calls aren't going our way. and
I mean, it
it
is kind of
happens.
wild that one's not, but the one in Dallas was.
Yeah.
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 Because to me, that's plain and obvious here. And the other
Yeah.
one was like, I guess he touched it, and which one impacted the flight and path of the ball more?
I thought like both. Yeah. I thought both of them, the defender was in stride, and yeah, it catches your hand. So, and I think both on both handballs, they were it did disrupt the flight of the ball. It did prevent it from moving forward. So it should be a handball.
The fun thing about that call or non-call was that center official didn't call it a handball. VAR in his ear was like, hey, go look at it. He goes to look at it, looks at it, and then is arguing with VAR saying how that's not a handball. And eventually center official does get the final say, and he decided he himself was not wrong. So with that, Mikey, what did you think about that call?
I don't know what a handball is anymore.
Cool.
I feel like that's the correct response right there. Who knows what's a handball?
I asked the linesman to give me a tutorial after the game, but unfortunately I didn't see him.
Well, that's pretty fair.
It's almost
I'd have
like
been
in the
losing my
NFL too.
mind.
What's a catch in the NFL?
Right.
Who knows? Yeah.
What's a check swing in baseball? What's a catch
Yep.
in the NFL?
What's a handball in soccer? There you go.
That's the whole thing, though, is if you put in any wiggle room, then that wiggle room can be exploited. And it is understandable, and you understand why the wiggle room is there, because you are allowed to have arms and to be running, and if they kick the ball into you and your arm was here, but then it extends afterwards, like there is a natural way, and then there is intent, right? Like Tony, like we had in our indoor game a couple weeks ago, the referee is signing intent, saying no, he's trying to block the ball. Is the RSL defender trying to block that ball in the box? Obviously the intent is ruled as no. Did he with the hand? Obviously yes. So
yeah,
silly game.
And it seems like every defender knows that once you're going into the penalty area, to kind of tuck those arms in, because anything could be called, right? If the ball is kicked towards you and it hits your hand, it could be called. So why not tuck it in and put it behind your back or something like that, to show that you're not trying to not intentionally block the ball with your hand. So defenders know it. Everybody knows it. That was a handball.
Mikey doesn't know. He doesn't know what a handball is.
He doesn't know it. Okay.
Asking for a tutorial.
Bad news. It wasn't a handball because the referee didn't call it. I'll be that guy.
That's exactly right.
That was a bummer.
Is it a handball? What did the official say? No? Then okay, it's not.
Exactly. All right. So some Mikey Varas post game that's not having to do with a very obvious disregard for the rule book.
I think a lot of things are working. I mean, sitting on 11 points to start the season, it's not too bad. Playing games where we have a lot of control of the match, but just a little bit sloppy in some details. sloppy in some details that we need to be disappointed about. And all of us got to look in the mirror. It's my job to get the team ready to play. And at this point, when you tie games that you know when you play your best, you should win, you have to be disappointed. You have to be disappointed. At the same time, we have to remember that not everything is going to be rosy and easy. So if that's what anybody expects, then I think we're due for a rude awakening, and we'll be really disappointed. I think Frontera and the fans did a great job today, and I'm, for me, I'm disappointed for them because we didn't play our best game. But at the same time, just want to remind everybody, there's ups and downs in a season, and not everything is only success. And we need to make sure that we're together in the good moments and the bad moments.
As always, sage discussion. He's just a very grounded person. And it's true. They're not in a bad position. They're 3-0-2. They're sitting on 11 points. They're undefeated. They're one of 3 teams. Nashville, Inter. You said it, Tony, right? So there's a lot going well. You gave Toluca a nice scare, enough to awaken them, to destroy you inside the candy box. And now you've got an opportunity, hopefully, to regenerate some of those legs. Of course, Anders Dreyer feels like he's playing World Cup matches now. So honestly, that's an open question, I'd say, for San Jose and going forward for the next couple of weeks for Anders Dreyer. But how about any more sound before we switch to Rumor Town?
I can get you. Let's see. With us, Marcus and Varson on today's match. Not today's match. On this weekend.
Well,
weekends.
All right.
Well, yeah, you got me.
How frustrating is this little span you guys are going through right now? What do you see that is missing, and what do you see coming out of it?
Yeah, especially today was tough. We don't find a rhythm, and we don't come out with the same energy and level as we used to. So we have to recover from that. Use the time now very wisely, and then find that rhythm again. I'm sure we'll do that, but it's tough right now.
Marcus, this long stretch you just had, how physically tired is this club right now? I mean, did that contribute to some of the sloppiness we saw today?
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's our first time to do the 5 games in a row. So, of course, there's something we have to learn doing. I think in general, we have been feeling quite good, of course, with the game in Toluca. We went out and did win as expected. But still, I think we should be able to come out with a better energy and better quality today, in general.
We went out and yeah. It's one of my favorite answers of the year.
I saw people push back, this is the sophomore slump, this is and the sky's falling, Chicken Little. No, you're still undefeated. You were tired. Sverskov and Invarsson over here, flying into Mexico for the first time along with other people. Marcus didn't play in that match, but still the rhythm isn't there, as he's saying. People are coming back. People played in Dallas and went full throttle when they probably weren't. Manodua, Invarsson, and now you try to integrate everybody back into the team together. And some stamina bars are a little bit more red and a little bit more depleted if this was a video game than others. And some people have to make runs to make up for some people. Some people may just want to break in Chris McVeigh and say, you know what, get me out of here. Red card. I'm tired. I need some rest, please. And maybe that's the reason of his indiscipline. But man, 2 red cards and 2 back-to-back games, impressive. That's impressive.
Man, I will say this about Invarsson though. This is probably one of his better games to start the season, and he had 5 shots, 2 on target, a goal, 3 key passes. He's really looking better as the season has progressed, and And if this is what we're gonna get out of him, it's pretty exciting to finally see it. We're starting to see the full in Bartson that we've been calling for since we started the podcast. Really, we've been calling out for his name for so long, and I'm very happy that we're starting to see it. And then it just kind of brings up questions of what you do. What are you going to do on the left side if you got Dreyer and Bartson? Now you can probably do a little switch off between Morgan and Pellegrino, and maybe you got something right there.
I would also like to point out to folks who think that the sky is falling and that it's a sophomore slump. If I recall correctly, I don't know if it's an exact track, but around this time last season, didn't SDFC lose 3 matches in a row as opposed to a 3-match winless streak, one of which didn't count in the MLS, the only loss? They had a 3-match losing streak early in the season in 2025. And there was that brief moment, I think it was before the Chromaniacs were formed as a unit. So it was pretty early in the year. But as I remember, there was a little bit of a stretch where it was like, uh-oh. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Colorado, Charlotte, and Charlotte being the worst of those beatdowns. And then RSL 3-1. Yeah. And then the bounce back of 5-0.
Yep.
Against Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you felt like, okay, everything's all right. But I remember coming into that match going like, oh, out in the purple lot, there's a little bit of not a wobble, but just kind of like, what kind of team do we have? We don't really know. And then, of course, they never looked back. So that was even a little bit later. That was in April, where they dropped 3 straight results and picked up 0 points. Here, they get win, draw in their last 3 MLS results. And we're mad. So, maybe our expectations are taking a sophomore slump because they're getting too high. Right now, they're on a pace to potentially break their number from last year. And that would definitely not be a slump.
Yeah, things are good. Things are really good. And now thinking about it, we haven't seen in the Chromaniac era, we haven't seen a 3-game losing streak. I think we started on the heels of the LA Galaxy match, and ever since then, good things have been happening for SanDiego FC. So you're welcome, is what I'm saying.
Fair. All right, things are good. Alex Pena says things are good.
Yeah,
but what if they got better? It's now out there, reported globally, that Mo Salah will leave Liverpool a year before his contract's up. When he signed his extension, we thought that the saving for Salah, SDFC strategy, hashtag save for Salah, was defunct, basically, or at least on the back burner, because he was going to be a couple of years out. Now he is leaving at the end of 2025-26 from Liverpool. And when I started reading the where could he go global pieces, SDFC was right there as a top 3, top 2 destination. Saudi Arabia kind of being the other. Like, do you want to take the real money? There might be a war going on around you. Could be a little bit of a detriment, I don't know. But you want to take the real money, the oil money? Do you want to take all that money? Or would you like Mohamed Mansour's money to come to America and try and do for yourself what Messi's done with Inter and bring your brand over to the United States of America and see how much more you can gain coming over here to the land of billionaires and kleptocracy, where Polymarket might be able to give him an extra $50 million or whatever. Okay. Official excitement levels on this 1 to 10, Alex.
It's very high. If the opportunity is there to sign Mo Salah, you got to do everything you can to take it. I think everything is lining up to do so. They don't want Chucky anymore, so you can easily just swap Chucky out, put Salah in, and it's all going to work out. So it's crazy that he's available, because for Liverpool last season, he had 47 goal contributions, and that's insane. That would be insane for this league. So he still got it. He can still produce very well and at a very high level, and yeah, if SanDiego can do it, if SanDiego, it would be a total game changer. Like he just does things that I've never seen anyone else do. He is a magician out there. So the excitement level very high. It's at a 9 out of 10 right now. What about you, Tony?
I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't think it's gonna happen, and I really think that the biggest chance that there'll be for Mo Salah to consider coming to MLS is gonna be his match in Seattle against Iran in the World Cup. Get some West Coast vibes and see what it's like to play in a stadium, and if he's really comfortable, maybe that's the turning point. But I really do think that there's just that Saudi deal is a little bit too enticing, and you just become just the ruler of soccer in Saudi Arabia and in that area globally. You have Cristiano Ronaldo over there who's earning $170 million a year. You have a couple of teams. I think the four biggest teams, Al Ahly, Al Hilal, and Al Ittihad and Al Nasser, who are all owned by the government essentially, and so that's just unlimited money. There's one other team with Al Qisya, who has Brendan Rodgers, the former manager of Liverpool, out there. So that's another enticing link there. So the one that it's rather kind of like a hey, I'm Egyptian, and I just happen to know another Egyptian connection of Mr. Mansour and Mo Salah. Is that strong enough to make this move happen? Is it going to have to be a little bit more holistic with, hey, we'll bring some people from your home country, and you're going to be this just emissary of football and right to dream, and just the biggest shining, what they thought Chucky was going to be. Because again, Chucky came in as like, oh, I came from Academy, I came from Pachuca, I came from all of this. It's so perfect, where you now have a chance to potentially have somebody in Mo Salah who's done it all. He's gone over through, and he did it the hard way too. He was over in Basel in Romania, played against Chelsea in a Champions League, defeated Chelsea, and Chelsea was like, cool, I'm gonna buy you, discarded him. Then he went over to Fiorentina in Italy, just destroyed Italy for a while. Then over to where did he go to? Was that Liverpool, I believe? Roma. And then to Liverpool, became just a cult hero. So just the prospect of bringing him to SanDiego, marketing wise, is too perfect. It's just the exact mouthwash of this Chucky Lozano situation. But Saudi money is gonna probably talk. So excitement level, it'd be great. Is it gonna happen? I think so.
Okay, that's totally fair. I mean, when you just say that any one of those clubs in Saudi Arabia could save 2 years, $300 million.
Yeah. Yeah. As a bonus.
And then what's Mansour supposed to do? I'll tell you what, wait 2 years. Get back in line and hope that he comes back out on the market. At first, mine was 10 because I'm like, hang on, he's on the market a year early. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. But I feel like maybe, Alex, he's just too good to be here quite yet.
Well, I mean, have you and has anyone actually seen like some of these Saudi matches? And
yes,
I don't want to disrespect the Saudis.
Does it matter? Does it even matter if the money clears?
Is that level comparable to MLS? Because it kind of feels like Not. It's not at the level, but I mean, you can make a ton of money, more money than you've ever made in your life for Mohamed Salah. Um, and yeah, you could be like Ronaldo, that he's just scoring goals like every single day.
Is it at the
He's trying
level,
to-
Alex? 6-0, man. Look at that.
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is. There it is, Alex.
Oh man.
Destroyed him.
Yeah. So
It was an super exhibition match. I think
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Hey, we thought Toluca was bad, Tony. Look at that. And here's the team
6-0.
that should be slumping.
But no, it's like the Saudi league is like the Globetrotters if they never practice together. Like it's just like, okay, cool, like just a bunch of individuals, but like there's no real cohesion. Everybody kind of hates it and just being there, and it's just like, all right, it's a big name though.
Yeah, players have returned. Like they've gone there, they made, a good amount of money, and they're like, okay, this isn't for me. I gotta go back to some other league, some other team. I gotta go back because yeah, they saw what it was, and it wasn't up to par to what they were expecting. And it's still a very much a growing league, and but it's always that opportunity of that's a lot of money like on the table that to go, and why not take it, because that money is never going to be available for you ever again, and that opportunity cost is it's a hefty price. So I would like to see Salah. Like Salah has his goal contributions like is on a top tier in the Premier League that doesn't even match anybody else's. It's incredible. So I would love to see that here. I would love to see it here in San Diego, and it would be exciting. And I want this for us. But
I mean,
the
we'd be the
I'm
cup
starting to see the
favorites, right?
problem. Yeah,
We'd be the cup favorites, even over Messi. If we had
out over
Salah
everybody. Over everybody.
dropped in this summer.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm starting to get the sense that if this doesn't happen, but if other moves happen, they're going to be for not your biggest name players. I do feel like this club has an idea of who they want, and it's got to match the whole identity of the club, right? You have to be a team player. You have to, want to be part of the Right to Dream organization. You got to, teach the other players, the younger players, be kind of a teacher for them. And it just that's not for everybody either. And we saw it with Chucky. I think I honestly feel that for a long time, Chucky Lozano is going to be the last big name we're going to see for a long time.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and this is, and does this feel, Craig, Alex, to you guys like compared to Kevin De Bruyne excitement whenever that was happening? Like,
Oh yeah.
does it feel similar? Like, because in my mind, like I'm sorry to be the poo poo on people's parade, but like I really genuinely don't think it's gonna happen. I would be happily, have my mouth shut if he does come in, and then I'll still ask the questions. Then I'll be like, you know what, I'll eat crow for sure. But does this feel similar to Kevin De Bruyne rumors, or just kind of that territory of it'd be great, it would make so much sense, it'd be so much better, but in your heart of hearts,
Yeah, he has to have so much money. You'd almost have to pay Salah a fifth of your franchise fee, or more. That might not be enough. And it's not, $8 million to Chucky Lozano, which is a lot of money, or 7.7 or whatever it is. But, that's a lot of money, but that's not going to be enough to get Mo Salah to come over here. The Saudis will laugh at that.
Yeah.
We'll just do 12 times that. How about that? To start as a negotiation.
to give an example,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mohamed Salah, highest paid player, earning approximately $400,000 per week. So that's the levels.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's solid.
About 1.2 million a month. So
Nice.
yeah, that's a good chunk of change. But yeah, I think either if we get De Bruyne or Salah, I think that'd be huge for the club. It'd be a big boost. But yeah, is it going to happen? It's I think ownership would have to step in and really want to make a statement here and do another big signing. And are they willing to do that while also dumping another contract, which they're going to have to do? And I don't see that happening right now. It's going to take years. It really is going to take years before we ever see another big signing, unless they're really willing to be like, okay, goodbye, Chucky, you're gone. Big name, you're coming to the club now.
Interesting perspective, guys. The rumors portion of the show and the show overall has come to a close. Episode number 37 of Chromaniacs. Heartbreaker. Remaker heartbreaker, Tony Sanchez. Your level of excitement, 0. Lutarski. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. It's like,
One day, like if it falls on April Fools, like I'll be like, I'll be the complete opposite and be like, no, sure, guys, like it's gonna be crazy. You're 4-0 against LAFC this season. It's gonna be messy at some point. You're gonna make it all the way to Leagues Cup, Baja Cup, back-to-back champs.
Let's go. I mean, that one you can already stand on, Tony. Stand on business when it comes to our Baja Cup pedigree. All right, don't get it wrong.
Undefeated.
All right, tell everyone, Tony, what's going on at SanDiego.Futbol.
Well, we have another San Diego Wave game coming up Saturday. And be on the lookout because more than likely there will be a special appearance from the newest player of San Diego Wave getting announced in a couple of hours, Cat Mercario. So that'll be fun for San Diego Wave fans. Check it all out. SanDiego.Futbol. Alex.
And I can't wait. Wave coming off of back-to-back wins now, so I can't wait for Saturday. You can catch my stuff on ChromaticFC.com. Did a recap. I actually might write again over the weekend, even though there's not much happening other than the international break, but I want to maybe take a dive into some players in MLS,
right.
So I might do that. Catch my stuff over at ChromaticFC.com. What about you, Craig?
Well, Padres season is here, and they did play a game today, and thankfully there's 161 more, or not so gratefully, there's 161 more. It just all depends on your perspective, but we cover it all at Padres Hot Tub, which has a weekly show, just like our Chromaniacs weekly show, that's completely free and available for you to watch on YouTube or to subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or wherever you get your content. We also have a much deeper level, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, where the opening tier is $5 a month. I mean, what can you get for $5 a month these days? You can get a month of content from us. We did a post-game show today, just an hour plus before we recorded this show here, to talk about the first Padres game, and we do about 100 post-game shows, plus weekly group therapy call-in shows for our patrons exclusively. And you can get all of that, plus access to our Discord, access to our voluminous fantasy leagues, and more, just by going to patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, and it's literally less than a gallon of gas. So think about that in this economically warped world, and consider lending your support if you're a Padres fan. Otherwise, I think that's it for this week. For Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks so much for being a part of the Chromaniacs. We'll talk to you next week.